Infernal Shrines is the second map in the series, and we have NaVi versus Fnatic again, and Fnatic is not waiting around. They are banning out Muradin. Bam! Right off the bat. Muradin gone, and, well, NaVi finds themselves, of course, now in a spot where they can think about what they ban out. Do they pull, like, a bit of a Dignitas metagame, where they just, like, ban out, let's say, ETC or Diablo? Yes, they do, and therefore Fnatic, if they now take Tyrande, will find themselves in a spot where it could be that Navi is just simply taking Diablo away and says like, alright boys, you know what, if you go for Tyrande, then we're going to deny you that combo. And Fnatic instead takes Kel'Thas. Kel'Thas over Tyrande. Of course, with ETC banned out and not Diablo banned out as Dignitas did before, if Navi now really wants to have the Tyrande comp, they have to commit to it now right away. And then they have to use a very early Diablo that you oftentimes don't see. Diablo is more or less a pick that we see towards the later phases on the draft. It's a Tyrande and Falstad pick that we are seeing here for Navi. Fnatic is extremely likely to ban Diablo now out at this point. I personally really love to go for Johanna on this map, and we've seen quite a lot of Johanna players actually. With the Eternal Retaliation, you can get so much out of those fights on the temple itself, on the shrine itself. So that's definitely something that Fnatic can now do too. Go simply into Johanna. But no, they take Diablo. They don't want to ban him. They actually take him. Alright, fair enough. That's awesome as well. I mean, he has solid AoE damage too, so that's something that Fnatic is trying to rely upon. I suppose we could see the second tank for them then later on as well. Normally Diablo played in either a double tank or a double support role. Very, very rarely do you see a Diablo solo with an Uther. And if you do see that, I don't think I've ever seen it successfully played. At least not in the current meta. Of course, a couple of patches back where Diablo was still completely different, then you could definitely run such a composition. But right now, not really the case anymore. Navi? Well, first of all, Fnatic needs another pick. So they can think about going into a double tank since, well, we have bans on 2 tanks already. So if they now pick another tank, ban another one out, then they really limit Navi's options here. So the commitment that they have at this point could work out in their favor if they do that. Then again, there is an Uther around right now, so you can pick Uther at this point. Uther not really in a position anymore where he can combo with an ETC, with a Divine Shield or anything like that, but still, he's super solid, and that's why he's being picked by Fnatic here as well. They don't go for that potential, like, ban the tank game, and instead just, like, drop the Uther right at this point. So Navi, they are very likely to not ban a tank. Actually, like in this case, nah, they're not going to ban a tank. They are most likely going to ban maybe Zagara. More into Diablo Apocalypse. If Apocalypse is played, would be great. Lightning Breath has been for months the more dominant talent if Diablos actually were played in the game. But nowadays, it's again the trend back to Apocalypse, and the more as the setup is pretty strong. You can play also Zeratul with such a comp, of course. It's a little bit more difficult to pull that off, but still, it's still possible. Zeratul has been played, again, a little bit more often within the last, I would say, like week in China, North America, and also in Europe. Not as popular as he was before, but then, of course, there's also Thrall and Sonya to consider for a potential ban since Fnatic already has Uther. So there's a lot of options that Navi has right now to really get rid of a hero that would combo well with what Fnatic is currently trying to do. And I suppose that once our draft has caught up here, we're going to see one of those melee assassins, warrior types banned out. Would be surprising if they ban out range. Yes, there's the Thrall ban. Okay, so Thrall over Sonya banned out. Fnatic now with the ban potentially on one of the warriors. For example, you could get rid of Johanna here. Could get rid of Johanna, force Navi into some kind of Leoric composition where they can use Leoric plus X if they want to have a double frontliner here. Jaina, on the other hand, is banned out. The combos well with Tyrande, and of course it's also that AoE damage on the shrines itself. I guess if Fnatic really bans out a tank, it would also make their own life a lot harder, since with Diablo they probably want to play another tank too. So yeah, in this case it all works out. We have a lot of AoE already banned out now, at least when we're talking about Fnatic, and at the same time that Thrall gone takes some options away from Fnatic. Fnatic playing with Wooby today could, in theory, also lead to a Kerrigan. We don't see Kerrigan in Europe too often, but it is one of the things that you can pull off if you have the Divine Shield. Navi go into the Tyrael, and that helps them not only to negate some of the damage that Kel'Thas can put on the board with the Sanctification, but it can also be quite helpful if your opponent goes for a Kerrigan. So I guess chances that we are going to see the Queen of Blades again have just gotten a lot smaller. Navi even committing to a Tacita here for potential vision on the map now. And Fnatic, right now with the setup that they have, they could go into a second frontliner. There's still the Johanna around if they want her. Nice AoE damage, even though Night takes Pawn got of course a bit nerfed. And you could, in terms of extra damage, try to go either for Vala or Reyna. Reyna a little bit better when it comes to the single target damage. Vala, when we're talking about damage on those shrines against minions, of course, quite a bit better. So that helps you as well. And yeah, they go for the Sonya play. So after Thrall was banned out, Sonya was open, so they use the Sonya play. And now the only question is really Sonya plus Diablo, is that enough? They played that. We saw that before. That was already played. Not in this series, but we saw that in Dignitas versus KF5. Still Fnatic with the chances to go into a Zagara, a Vala, a Reyna. Nice damage against single targets if we're talking Reyna. Great zoning with a Hyperion, Vala with a multi-shot build to get even more access to those Infernal Shrine minions. And Fnatic is really running down the time pool. They could also go for something completely different. We've seen even setups like this with the Leoric plate as well, trying to go into a massive amount of frontliners and have Kalthas just with so much space that he can get the damage in like all day long. And that, of course, makes then Sonya and Diablo also a little bit safer here. Yeah, the draft is actually acting up here a bit today. You can see those zeros. Of course, that just means that we're going to have a refresh in just a second for it. But yeah, NaVi hasn't really picked their hero yet either, and it's going to be their next pick. It is the Leoric. They actually go for it. They go for the triple front line. Thanks, Fnatic, for making me look good here. We have the Leoric together with the Sonya and the Diablo, and taking another frontliner away. NaVi, Johanna, yes, no. Do they really want to play a Tyrael solo with this one? And if they go for a frontliner, what's it going to be? It is a Zagara instead. Wow. Tyrael solo for NaVi against a triple frontline. That is going to be an interesting match now. Of course, we have Zagara with nice control on those shrines as well. I mean, that Maw can really hit a lot of heroes now. But Tyrael has to be super careful. He has a double supporter again on the other hand. He has the shields himself, he has the mobility, he has Tyrande and Tacita to support him. But that's a pretty cool setup. Fnatic with a commitment into the front line, and NaVi now with the Zagara as the last pick. Game number 2, everybody. We're going to jump in right away. Infernal Shrines is the map here at the Heroes Battle Arena. Let's find out which team is going to take it here. Okay. I suppose we have our lobby up. Yes, we do. I just need to find out who hosted so I can adjust the overlay. And then we're going to take from there. Alex hosted. Okay, sweet. So, NaVi is in the lead, as already mentioned. Okay. Alrighty. One second. Okay, franchise hasn't started yet. What's this? Alright, boys. So, we have the next game about to start. The players logging down their heroes here. 2 aren't ready yet. Who isn't ready? Looks like we're waiting for Diablo. Has a lot of terror. Probably needs to terrorize somebody before he can jump in here. Bad pun is bad. I had to go for it, sorry. I had to go for it. I couldn't resist. Sue me. Well, game on, boys and girls. We have Infernal Shrines. One of my favorite maps to cast. I have to admit, it's a fun map to watch. And yeah, we're going to go in and try to see who's going to take that lead once again. At least if I can find my... There it is. All these tabs. Way too many. Way too many, I tell you. Game number 2, everybody. NaVi in the lead. The Heroes Battle Arena Finals. And we have Alex, the Pro G, to the left side of the map on Tyrael. Zarmany for NaVi on Tacita. Gran Paquete on Tyrande. They have a double support here. Crosby playing Zagara again, and we have Infernal on Falstad. To the right side of the map at the same time, it's of course Fnatic again with Breeze on Diablo, and we have Mena on Kalthas, one of his favorite heroes, Smexy style on Uther. We see Quacknix on Sonya. He is a terrifying Sonya, and Whoopi playing Leoric now. So, game number 2, of course, here on Infernal Shrine. It's going to be a fun one. We actually see Diablo going on level 1, not into Devil's Due, not going into the Soul Feast. Instead, it is block that he chose to go for. And of course, that can be quite nice if you're going up against a lot of auto attackers. Can really help you. We're having also the Shot of Fury taken. We're seeing the Mana Addict. There's reanimation for Leoric. We have a double Seasoned Marksman, by the way. So I could actually see that that Diablo double check the first talent of Tyrande before he made that decision to go not into Soul Fields, but instead straight into block. And with Tyrande playing an auto attack build, with Falset playing an auto attack build, Zagara being around, it kind of makes sense to just like change things up a little bit and go for the safety talent here. So the rotations are happening. Early game, of course, going to be a lot about the aggression. Mainly can use the Nether Wind, or in general just like the Gravity Lapse once that breeze starts to dart in, and then there's also that mini stun that you get from that spear alone. Smexy style can do the same thing too. Zarmany is providing vision with the Oracle on the map. Alex the Pro G, Grand Paquette, and everybody else is already starting to move around as well. Top lane, that's where we have currently Eternal and Whoopi. Nothing too fancy just yet. Those two heroes will most likely start to roam around soon. And talking about roams, we have that mid lane, bot lane roam happening now as Quarknix, Nexus style main and Breeze are just attempting to burst as much away as they can. Go for a potential target if somebody is in vision. And of course the idea is to really just like soak not only the lanes, but also give them a few more stacks on reanimation, on the Mana Addict, and of course also in the Conjurer's Pursuit. And as long as you do that, you also deny, of course, these marksman stacks to your opponent that is not able to do exactly the same rotation on the map, and cannot simply jump between two lanes and try to take that. Alex the Pro G, Zarmany and Grand Paquette, they're currently still in the middle. The Shrine has been announced up at the top. We have Eternal down to the bot lane here, so he's going to fly up as soon as he can. Whoopi actually is starting to still pressure the lane, so Eternal might stay here for a bit longer. The rotation is happening, and the first position for Fnatic, so they get a bit ahead in this. We have Alex the Pro G and Grand Paquette starting to move in. Alex already up at the top here, trying to go straight for that Shrine. And yes, there's a Flame Strike again to steal quite a fair amount of these guys away already. So yeah, looking pretty solid here. Grand Paquette moves in. 4 talents is a bit faster. That was one of the main reasons why we had actually the heroes still on lane, to make sure that they get that extra talent. And of course, it is the Fire Devil taken. Netherwind. No big surprises here. Searing, we have actually like Leashing Plasma taken. Searing Arrows for Tyrande. Going into a full auto attack build here thus far. And of course, we will still be able to get a couple of hero points out there, especially with Shadow Stalk later. But this is definitely going to help him. So, besides that, we're still seeing the fight happening, and by now we actually have a lead for Navi in the amount of minions that they were able to get. So that's pretty sweet for them. They can maintain that. The first Punisher would really be important. It's a Mortar Punisher, by the way. So that's what they're currently seeing here. And again, the move around. Eternal at the top. Here comes once more Fnatic, but they have moved. They actually have moved back right now. So they're currently just like pushed back at this point, which is extremely annoying for them because they were up at the spot earlier. And still the better position here now for Navi, who secure Punisher number 1. They jump in again, and well, this one should be bursted down quite easily, but it's still going to cost them 2 towers. 2 towers and the wall itself as well. The Punisher is eliminated, but it's a slight losing experience right now, thanks to all those structures killed. The earlier level 7, therefore, probably for them. The cool thing was that Whoopi is still at the bot lane and was able to secure a few experience points. They're actually not too far behind. It's not too crazy. Alex has to jump out, and his Tyrael player, of course, is once again top-notch here. Breeze, one of the best Diablos that we currently have in the game, is moving up to the top and is attempting to just maybe like get a hold of the Eternal. Don't really think that's going to happen anytime soon. Eternal usually super solid with these heroes as well. Grand Paquette and Zarmany at the bot lane, the 2 supports that Navi is currently running in this game. And still rotations on the map, mostly like 3 or 4 man rotations trying to go for camps. The level 7 talent will bring Navi slightly ahead. In the series, of course, they already took the first victory here on the initial map. But by now, we're seeing Eternal and Quarknix still fighting that battle up at the top lane. A bit of a checkpoint here by Uther moving in, seeing like, hey, did they take the Bruiser camp? Yes or no? Are they on it at this point? They're not, but Breeze gets caught by the Owl, so they know exactly where he is positioned. After the talents that we've been talking about, Kala's Embrace and again Lunar Blaze, we have also Endless Creep now taken for Zagara. An attempt for Alex in the mid lane again, but his Eldrune Smite is already there. He jumps away, gets Gravity Lapse, but he should still be able to escape this one. Uses the shield in the last second, but yeah, that 3-man roam was not successful. Ghastly Reach after Battle Momentum. and pretty solid talents just overall. Vision is, of course, one of the key moments here for Zagara. We have another temple announced and on a shrine, and these are going to be quite important ones now. Even a bit of an attempt here by Fnatic to just like meet one of those roams. And this is actually one of those things that they did against Team Liquid quite a bit. They were always attempting to just like catch someone roaming on the map towards one of the shrines, trying to just like take them down before one of the big battles happened. And the Arcane Punisher that's going to spawn next will be fought over quite heavily. Falstad is the one who takes down the Shaman, so he can move up to the top lane. Ooh, actually goes in and tries to push the lane even harder before he flies in towards the shrine. Alex is already in there, gets slammed and nearly taken out. Yep, but good cover by Grandpa Kete with a nice stun. Falstad still at the top, and he is going to push that very hard, but it also means that we're having a massive lead in minions for the opponent. Falstad is flying down, and this of course is going to put heavy pressure onto the fort now, but this is the fight that NaVi finally wants to take. They're moving in onto the point, and they are pushing them back, but only 5 more of those minions are needed to secure the Arcane Punisher for Fnatic. And they are moving in, Quacknix is on point, and one more, that's all that they need to get. And Main, of course, with a simple Flame Strike can secure that without any problem whatsoever. So the Arcane Punisher is jumping out for the red team, for Fnatic. The top lane pressure is still ongoing though, and this fort is losing more and more hit points. But the Shaman has been taken out, and that's the most important minion of them all, since of course it spawns all those fragments. Yeah, sentries, arcane sentries everywhere. 9.5, the level lead here for Team NaVi. We see them actually quite ahead in this case, yeah, but they still have to run away from those sentries. Zarmani lost a ton of hit points within a second. Of course, Fnatic is not stopping there, but they are moving into the mid lane now and attempting to get another kill. Alex is playing in these situations extremely safe. He's not moving out there at all. Level 10 is now ready for them. Jumps in, tries to push them back a little bit, but yep, that's of course now a level 10 versus level 10, and Falstad flying in, they try to catch somebody. Here comes that Mighty Gust, slows the heroes down as well, but it was of no consequence. The cooldown is extremely low, so you can definitely like try to go for a move like this. Apocalypse chosen again, Breeze moves in, the March of the Black King, Falstad taken down, Crosby attacked, the Maw hits too, and therefore they are able to move away, but Falstad is down, barrel rolled into the March of the Black King. It was actually a very cool march from Wubby. Wubby basically not trying to hit the heroes where they stand. He was trying to anticipate where they would move, marched into that direction, and then with everything else that happened right behind him, the heroes were forced to try to get away, and Falstad in this case barrel rolling into the march and getting just slammed into the face by the scepter. So Leoric taking him down. Leoric on the money pick, by the way, bonus points for style here for Wubby. We could see him in the balloon as well, but any mount that you can afford with gold is definitely cool. I am still very much in favor of Blizzard introducing a mount to the game that is extremely exclusive and costs like 100,000 gold. I'm totally in favor of that, and I would buy that if it's awesome. So Blizzard, please, the awesome mount of awesomeness, please introduce it to the game, and I don't know what that's going to be. I mean, we have a doubloon, we have also a money pick, maybe a checkbook or something like that could be used. I don't know. Some dirty esports money, I don't know quite what they could go for, but yeah, the 100,000 gold mount, it has to become a reality eventually. So currently the bot lane heavily pushed with the Kasura camp, but as another shrine was already announced up to the top with the Frost Punisher this time, they are jumping in, and Quacknix is leaping away. I love that leap is back. It's so good. Whoa! Okay, I can't make that sound, but still, I love that the commitment is again here for those aggressive combos. Wrath of the Berserker is fun, don't get me wrong, but leaping in is always cool. Breeze! Oh, he dashes away. Charges a minion, actually, get out of this situation. Very well done here. Cool move. Alex now once again in position on the shrine, and just all these shrine battles have been ending in favor of NaVi. Well, they lost one Punisher, but that's more or less why because they moved in so late. But right now they take that spot again, and they are always on point. They have so much pressure now. They run only one frontliner. Nice stun into stun here against Alex, but he has the shields. Leoric is down, and this frontliner setup that we see for Team Fnatic is turning against them now, as we see everybody else moving in. There is a sanctification. Breeze is isolated. He doesn't get away. Well, as I say, he jumps straight up for Zarmani, gets out of the situation for a moment, but dies in the end after all. He's going to be back in a second thanks to his trade. The shrine is still being fought over. There comes, of course, Quacknix dashing in. Ah, nice. The Divine Shield prevents the stun, the stun from taking him down. And another Punisher for Fnatic. Even though they lost 2 heroes, they were able to secure it because they moved in again. Whoopi on his Leoric was there. But I kind of like that. The fight's really going in favor of Na'Vi if you think about it, but just this Punisher control that we now suddenly see from Fnatic is very solid. Always when it goes to the battles, we see on the Shrine Na'Vi present with nearly their entire lineup and forcing Fnatic back, but Fnatic makes it happen somehow. Goes in, takes those again, level 13 talents now for Na'Vi, and they try to use that as an advantage to maybe drop a hero or two, but it's not going to be an advantage for long since the level 13 is now also in play for Fnatic. Overflowing like, we have the Distortion Beam actually for Tacita, so he wants to slow down that heavy melee setup, that frontliner setup that we're seeing for the opponent, even more than that. Whoopi is currently up at the front line. Damage build completed here, more or less. Aftershock taken. Normally when Aftershock is the talent on level 13 for Sonya, then we see here with a level 13 commitment as well, where she gets more damage and is then in a position where, of course, that level 13 talent comes in quite handy. The reason is that the damage increase on level 16 also increases the fury costs on 16, so that combo is very powerful. Also, of course, the Chain Bomb combo with the Fission Bomb. That's probably something that you already knew, I suppose, because duh. Burning Rage, again, against Zagara, one of the heroes usually goes for Burning Rage. And in this case, it makes sense to use it on Leoric. We have also, of course, the auto-attack build with the Giant Killer even progressed. Here comes that stun attempt against Alex, and he gets away. Great ball, by the way. I'm liking that. Yeah, that was definitely a good one. Soterial owns Zagara a beer. That's at least 1 beer, if not 2. So, Grandpa Keta and Eternal currently still in the middle of the map here. 2 kills against 1, we're 11 minutes in. And if you think about all those kill-heavy fights and battles that we had in the last series, then this is a way more tactical game that is being played right now. It's all about the objective control, it's all about the map control in itself. We have 1 fort taken down, another fort up at the top lane, has of course suffered severe damage, but is not eliminated yet, so there's no threat to the keep, or at least to the wall of the keep yet. The next shrine is going to be announced pretty soon. It's going to be an even talent fight again. Whoopi is already in position over here, trying to see the rotation, slowing it down a bit, can move out of this one easily, and he does exactly that. He was, of course, waiting for Na'Vi committing to that camp, but they can't really go for the aggression. Or at least they try. They try to go for it. They actually move in. Is Alex going to let this one go? He could go straight for... Yeah, nice move by Breeze, but it doesn't really work out just yet. But now we have the Phoenix in play. Nice leap into the back line. Nobody dying yet, but as I say, Tyrande is down. And once again, Whoopi with a March of the Black King. They drop now Leoric themselves, and it could be the end of Diablo 2, but the camp is already taken as Alex had to jump out. He was extremely low, so he jumps away, and it is a double kill against Na'Vi. 1 kill for Fnatic. 1 kill against Fnatic, so now we have 3 kills against 3 kills, and that shrine fought over by Fnatic already, as we are seeing in the mid lane. Still that pressure play with 2 of those camps against the structure of Na'Vi, so they're going to lose a fort once more, and it will result in a Punisher for Fnatic as well. So Fnatic, after losing the first game, are definitely starting to make a bit of a comeback here, at least when we're talking about map number 2. They haven't really won that map yet, but they are playing a very, very solid style here. They have now level 16 talents. They took down the fort in the mid lane even without the Punisher. And now with the level 16 talent, we're currently seeing them going. We're seeing Na'Vi also with the 16, by the way, so extremely close. So Holy Ground taken. We have Dimensional Warp after the, not Prescience, but Distortion Beam on level 13. We're seeing Imposing Presence for Diablo. Didn't go for Rampage here. Arcane Barrier. Arcane Barrier has been taken now as well for the survivability of Kel'Thas. Benediction, after, of course, Ghastly Reach, it's now the renewed swing again. And Sonya, is she gonna go into the Nerves of Steel? If she wants to go for the aggression and going for the second Slam Talent is something that she has to do, and yes, that's indeed the case. With 2 warriors to her side, she wants to go for it. Nice Mighty Gust, I like this a lot. Isolates the Punisher, and they can zone him out and of course attack him right away, burst him down. We have Brute Expansion taken. There's also now on level 16 the Hammer Time for Falstad. Another fort about to fall at the bot lane, as we have the 2-shot aura for Tyrande. Very, very cool game here. Cool and solid plays that we see from both sides. Very nice moves on the map. 16 versus 16 currently. And we have, in this case now, once again, the move down to the bot lane with a 5-man rotation, trying to maybe put some pressure onto that fort. That alone is already easily able to pull off, because they can straight go for one of the Castle camps as well if they protect it a little bit longer, and this is going to help. Leoric is securing experience on the lane, and yeah, that's just a flyby by Eternal. It's just like, just winks for a moment, and it's like, hey dude, how you doing? and just moves past. Whoopi is still there though, and they could end up in a bit of a trap if Navi is trying to rotate now. They will lose this fort at the bot lane against the 5-man commitment. They won't be able to save this one. Simply Flame Strike, and of course also then against the Fire Talents used on Diablo, just like take that down as well. But now the top lane is again secured. We have a slight lead for Fnatic. By now it's actually nearly a level lead that they have against Navi. And Alex and his boys are of course waiting for a team fight to happen where they can get a good engagement. Already Holy Ground being used to secure the position here. Zagara in this game has been pushing quite a bit, but she hasn't really paid off the way that Navi was probably hoping for. We have another commitment now up at the top lane here, where we have another camp maybe stolen away. Does Alex use the Holy Ground? Nope, doesn't really want to go for it. But now as at the top lane, another shrine is being announced. This is of course really the time where Navi has to make a stand. If they don't take it here and they lose another Punisher, then they are going to be in way too much trouble to come back, in my opinion. This could mean keep even. If they lose here, they could be keep, and keep also the levels in mind. With level 18.5, if this is resulting in a team fight that turns against Navi, then it would mean that level 20 is going to be very close, if not already reached by Fnatic, and that would put the Storm Talents into their hands. Yeah, nice, the barrier not hitting, double support so far. They're trying to go for the sustained fight. Most of those preloaded shields are already gone. They are moving in for the fight. Quacknick securing even more minions before it even starts. Phoenix didn't really do too much here, and they start to chase Fnatic away, but we've seen the same MO in a lot of these fights already, and every time we saw the Punisher drop into the hands of Fnatic. So once more, Alex is being isolated from the rest of the team, but he's still being kept alive. Here comes the Apocalypse. Nice double stun, triple stun. Zagara shielded, nearly taken out, and a great Maw. Great Maw, but everybody low, and there's no follow-up. So they just move away. Turanda was close to dying. Fawcett as well. Zarmani could still die. Good stun there. And here comes Whoopi with the Wraith Walk, trying to go for Zarmani and for Grandpaket. The Tyrael is dead. He got isolated towards the right side. They drop Whoopi, but the issue is, of course, still that their hit points are super, super low. Shadowstalk is actually being used to remedy that. But, yep, there's the Punisher again. It's a Mortar Punisher. Could have been worse, I suppose. I mean, an Arcane Punisher in this situation would have been way, way worse. But still, it's going to be a push with that. And Fawcett is already flying down to the bot lane. The whole idea here is, of course, to soak even more experience and make sure that they get an opportunity to hit maybe level 20 together with their opponent. Not quite sure if it's going to happen or not, but Fawcett will have to... Oh, it has to die. Dying before the Punisher even arrives. Okay, that is tricky now. This is actually looking really, really bad for Navi now. Fnatic is going to secure themselves level 20, and with Tassadar down for another 40 seconds, this could mean that they go for core. Yeah, that didn't do too much either. I mean, it buys them a bit of time, and I think that's all that Eternal could really hope for here. But this keep is going to fall with the level 20 talents that we have now, with a Lord of Terror on top of all things, and also that Heavy Warrior setup that gives them a double hardened shield. They're starting to go in again. Nice bait. Punisher baited into the mid lane, that's always cool. But now we're having again the attack happening, and Sonya with all that damage output that she has right now is at 22,000. We have Kel'Thas with 40,000. They need to move away. They don't want to fight here. Tassadar is going to be back any second. So the bait of the Punisher into the mid lane that we just saw from Fnatic, from Navi, helped them out and let them survive a bit longer. Well, for Navi, it's all about level 20 now. They need to get level 20. They need to make sure that they fight on even talents. And until that happens, they can't really move out on the map. So that's going to be very tricky. 19 versus 20, currently the talents, and therefore an entire level ahead for Fnatic. And they are very happy about their position in the game. I mean, the only structure that got really attacked is the fort up at the top, and that didn't even get taken out. So now it looks like Fnatic is going to try to capitalize on the level 20 talent as much as they can by simply moving into the mid lane and starting to go straight for a kill against this one as well. That would drop the second fort laner there, of course. Shields on Tassadar are going to help out to keep it alive a little bit longer. That Mighty Gust always ready. Sonya has also now leap up, so if they can jump into the backline, they could try and take one of these heroes down. Level 20, there we go, and no leap just yet. Alright, so moving away, using not only the Shadowstalk, but also the shift again, but the keep, of course, falling. No level 20 yet. But Whoopi about to die, turned around, was maybe thinking about the March of the Black King here to keep himself alive a bit longer, but didn't want to waste the heroic ability in the end, and after all, moves away, and he's of course going to start cheating death now with the reanimation, so not really a big deal or anything. We have 20 versus 20, so Fnatic can just like save themselves some time. Hunter Swiftness, Epic Mount, Bolt of the Storm, and Hardened Shield for Tyrael, plus a Storm Shield on Tacita. Give a lot of sustain now, a lot of speed and positioning advantages to Na'Vi, but their entire setup is, of course, still a little bit tricky. It's still that Zagara pick. The Maw is nice and really helps them, but personally I would have liked to see either a Vala or a Reyna. I mean, I've been talking about it during the draft. I feel like those two heroes would probably have given them a bit more damage. Zagara will have decent damage numbers, don't get me wrong. With those Hunter Killers you get easy damage out there, but it's just not the same thing as having a Reyna that can use later on in the game, sees Marksman stack and just like go completely ham and zone, then also with the Hyperion on the Vala that will help you to get those objectives, because that's really where they were lacking a bit. Whoopi moving in once again. The objective is going to be the important one. Can Na'Vi turn it around now? Fnatic is still in a good spot, but it's 20 versus 20, and that changes things, of course. Hunter Swiftness already chosen, and nice dodge on that Apocalypse, but Falset is dying. Invulnerable used now thanks to the sanctification on Tyrael. They might get a kill in if they can, that would be great, but no, they lose to Randa instead. And now that we have another Punisher about to be taken, it looks like it's going to be lights out. Breeze has no problems dying here. He still has the trade up. As long as they take another hero out as well, they're going to be totally fine with it. And as Mena is still able to use his Arcade Barrier, it's no issue whatsoever. So it's a triple kill against Na'Vi, and this is going to conclude the game. Already to the left side, we're seeing Quacknix doing his thing, just like zoning them out, putting a bit of pressure on. He has, of course, now all those damage talents that he can use as well. His damage of 34,000 is still very, very solid. But we have 55,000 on Kel'Thas against the 72,000 on Zagara. There is the GG, well played, already called as the Punisher is moving into the lane. Zagara dies here at the end as well, but this is going to be a tie in the series that we have between Fnatic and Na'Vi here at the grand final of the Heroes Battle Arena. Alrighty guys, alright, so, yeah, game on, we have